The final sprint to the November election is on, and there is a crowded field of candidates vying to become the next mayor of San Francisco. CBS News Bay Area is teaming up with KCBS Radio and the San Francisco Examiner to host the San Francisco mayoral debate that is coming up Wednesday, September 11th at 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ann Makovic, and ahead of that debate, we're taking a look at the main issues on voters' minds and then taking you beyond the ballot with the personal stories of the candidates. Mayor London Breed is fighting for another 4 years on the job. The other leading contenders for the city's top job include a former San Francisco mayor, a nonprofit executive, and 2 city supervisors. Now, Mayor London Breed gave debate organizers written confirmation of her participation in the debate back in April. But just last week, she rescinded her acceptance of our invitation in writing and told us she would no longer participate in the debate. In an official statement, her campaign manager and campaign spokesperson said Mayor Breed has already participated in 4 debates and still has the upcoming SF Chronicle KQED debate and numerous candidate forums on her schedule between now and Election Day. Unlike candidates Daniel Lurie and Mark Farrell, Mayor Breed has a job. She has to balance the demands of running the city while also running a campaign. She has a limited amount of time, and she wants to speak directly with voters as much as possible. She wants to escape the bubble of city insiders and go straight to the people, meeting them as they live their daily lives. Now, we should note the other candidates have all agreed to participate in the debate, whether the mayor attends or not. The Breed campaign used the opportunity to comment further on 2 of her rivals, saying Daniel Lurie and Mark Farrell want more debates so they can stand on the stage repeating the same toothless talking points over and over again. Mark Farrell told us the mayor is ducking out because she doesn't want to defend her track record of failed leadership on the top issues facing the city. She has no vision for San Francisco, and it's why only 27% of voters in a recent poll approve of her job performance. This should make for a fascinating debate, as the candidates that are there will be asked about some of the city's toughest and most visible issues, among them crime and safety, the drug crisis, and homelessness. The city says it has been working to solve them ever since the Grant Pass ruling. The city has made it a point to dismantle homeless encampments like this one in the Tenderloin. An overlapping problem, the open-air drug market. With the help of state and federal law enforcement, more than 500 pounds of drugs were taken off the streets since May of last year, and about 3,900 arrests were made since that drug crackdown began. And while there is some progress, the city's next leader will have a lot to tackle on both fronts. Wilson Walker gives us a look.
Basically, I woke up, I seen some people standing up over me, and I noticed that they came from a health van.
Damon slept beneath the noise machines designed to prevent people from camping on this sidewalk, but the city's encampment resolution team will force him to move again.
I can't be nowhere 3 days. It seems like people.
This time he's been referred to an open spot at one of the city's navigation centers, and with the backing of recent court decisions, the city has been pushing harder to get people off the streets, something that has been discussed in emergency terms in recent years.
Of emergency management.
It was December of 2021 when Mayor London Breed launched a series of initiatives aimed largely at the nexus of homelessness and drugs in the Tenderloin. 32 months later, there is evidence that the law enforcement surge is disrupting drug markets, at least during the day. And overdose numbers, which hit a record high of 810 last year, are trending down this year, a drop of 15% so far, versus 2023, though health officials say they are not sure why. And as for getting people off the streets,
and I'm just hoping that it works out for me. I'm 53. I'm still able to work.
These challenges, of course, have vexed San Francisco mayors going back generations now. So what has changed? Well, maybe the public's sense that it is time for discernible, measurable improvements, and that the city's collective fate may be increasingly tied to finding a way to make progress on these issues.
Crime and safety, also top of mind in the crowded mayoral race. Our Lauren Toms spoke with people in the Castro to find out how they're feeling about the state of things.
For nearly 20 years, Greg Carey and Ken Craig have patrolled the Castro as part of one of the oldest neighborhood watch groups in the city. In partnership with police, they haven't let up on their safety efforts in good times and bad.
We are part of the overall solution, but the fact that all of these different groups are approaching the same problem from different perspectives is a big part of why things are working so well.
They say a slow night is a good night, and that's become a more common occurrence. Property crime across the city is down more than 35% compared to last year. That's according to SFPD. And violent crime is down more than 13%. The lowest decrease in crime is seen in the Mission, where rates are down 10.7%. And the steepest decrease is in the Richmond, where crime is down nearly 45%. And while those numbers are promising, they're not felt by all. Just a few blocks away in the outskirts of the Castro, Kevin Liu is reeling from his fourth break-in of the year. It's his seventh between his two San Francisco locations.
It's a sense of like helplessness. It's something that you didn't sign up for, right? So we're passionate about food. We love making food, and we love bringing people to the tables. And we didn't sign up to be crime fighters, and this is just out of our wheelhouse.
His sense of security is shattered, but his sense of hope isn't lost.
We love the city. We want to see it come back, and we're going to fight for it.
One of the big issues the candidates will be asked to address: affordable housing. Whether you want to own or rent, it is expensive to live in San Francisco. One of the biggest issues the candidates will be asked to address: affordable housing. Whether you want to own or rent, it is expensive to live in San Francisco. Real estate website Zillow places the average cost of a home in San Francisco at $1.2 million. And rent? $4,100 a month for 2 bedrooms. As Kenny Choi reports, this struggle informs what voters want from the candidates.
Jesse Harris is living off retirement savings, including Social Security and a pension. He's a licensed general contractor, picking up jobs wherever and whenever he can.
I have to do this job because I only make enough money in my retirement to pay my rent.
A divorce 4 years ago forced him to move back to San Francisco, where he was born and raised. He's been on a long wait list for affordable housing.
Affordable is anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000, but $4,000, I just can't afford that.
The 66-year-old is clinging to hope that he'll have a better chance in a housing lottery or move up the wait list. Karen Nemsick is Director of Housing Justice at United Way Bay Area.
We see a really huge gap between wages going up at a very low level and rent speeding up.
Nemsick defines affordable housing as tenants paying a maximum of 30% of their income on housing, whether you're a teacher, retired general contractor, or firefighter.
Sometimes things are greater than yourself. This is going to make it happen, and I'm hoping these are one of those times.
That attitude is admirable, but how long he can stay afloat is uncertain.
It is a crowded field to become San Francisco's next mayor. As we continue our special coverage, we're bringing you the personal stories of San Francisco's top mayoral candidates off the campaign trail, starting with incumbent Mayor London Breed, who's trying to hold on to her job as the city faces many challenges. Our Lauren Tom spent some time at her home.
I remember this day when I took this picture. I remember crying because I didn't want to wear this shirt. I wore almost every day. So it was like, I want to wear a different shirt. I mean, even at 5, I was a piece of work, but I didn't understand that we didn't have it to go buy a new shirt for picture day. It was like, you're going to wear what you have right here.
Inside London Breed's apartment, she's surrounded by photos showing generations of family, both by blood and, as she says, by love.
Like, am I even in there? I don't even think I'm in there, but that's the Breeds.
She was raised by her grandmother, Camellia, whose impact can be felt in each part of the mayor's home.
That's me and my grandmother. I blew that picture up a little bit because, again, we didn't have a lot of pictures. That's her when she finished high school.
But to a young London, growing up in poverty and dependent on food stamps in the same city she now leads, she never could have imagined the shoes she'd later step into.
I know what it feels like for people in positions like this to make decisions that negatively impact my community. And I never want to be one of those people.
And to prepare to make those decisions with the hope of a positive impact, each morning she tries to dedicate a moment to herself.
I make coffee. I have to have coffee to get me through the day. Delicious. A little bit of that tough love that my grandmother, it was like, you cannot live here unless you do your homework, make up your bed, and clean up. There were rules. And I believe in rules. I believe in rules and I believe in structure. And that allows for everyone to have an opportunity to be a part of a better community, a better society.
But her role as mayor has brought some healing to London, who recalls her own experience living among conditions she's worked to improve during her 6 years in office.
Feeling hurt and angry about everything all the time, it just was most of my life because we had no choice. It is definitely a blessing to be able to go through that and to use those same experiences.
About a dozen plants fill her apartment windows.
I became a plant mom during the pandemic. Yeah, I love my plants. They're my babies.
A mark of growth from her own upbringings in the city she hopes to improve for others who follow in her path.
Years ago, before London Breed became mayor, Mark Farrell served as interim mayor, and now he wants that job permanently. You might remember Breed became acting mayor after the death of Mayor Ed Lee. But then the Board of Supervisors appointed Farrell as interim mayor until the special election. Farrell did not run in that election, and voters elected Breed. Now, Lauren profiles Farrell as he eyes a return to politics and public service.
Ready for some football.
It's not just election season for mayoral candidate Mark Farrell, but almost as important, it's also the start of football season.
So we are headed out to St. Ignatius in the Sunset, where our son Jack is going to be a junior this year, and he's playing on the football team. Look, regardless of the sport, the point is for us as parents is to be super engaged with our kids. And sports is a big way to do that, certainly if you have the ability and the time to coach.
This is a drive Mark and his wife Liz have made hundreds of times from their home to St. Ignatius, where not only his kids go to school, but he went to high school.
I'm a dad first, period. And if you ask me what's the most important thing I do in life, what's the thing I enjoy doing the most in life, it's being a dad.
Stepping back onto his old stomping grounds, he's reminded of his time playing football on the very field he watches his son Jack play today.
Playing on the field that I played on and going to some of the same classrooms, absolutely, it's bizarre. Honestly, it's just a source of pride in our kids that they're doing their own things. They're much better athletes than I ever was, without a doubt. Probably got it from their mom.
Sports and parenting go hand in hand in the Farrell house, coaching his kids both on and off the field. And for Mark, those lessons can be seen in his goals as candidate for mayor.
If we're going to bring our city back, if we're going to restore all the things and fix all the things that are our issues right now, we have to be honest about where we sit to really have a sustained path forward. And leadership is a big part of that. And taking that from the athletic field to City Hall, it's a very natural extension.
It's an extension he has made before as interim mayor in 2017, and after 8 years of watching from the sidelines, he's hoping to get back into the political field. But for Mark, it's his family, he says, that's brought him this far.
That a family, is such a big part of our lives and a big part of my life. And like I said, nobody's perfect. Our children aren't, I'm not. But really proud of who they are as human beings more than anything else. And again, if that's the one thing I do in life, is help be a great parent to our kids. That's life well lived.
Using that motivation to get across the finish line this fall.
Now we're going to focus on nonprofit executive and the only City Hall outsider, Daniel Lurie. Lauren joined him on a date with his wife.
Thank you. You gotta be all in if you're gonna do something as wild and crazy as run for mayor of your hometown.
Dashing across that hometown, Daniel Lurie races to make it to a rare date night with his wife, Becca. But with each passing block, he's reminded of why he's taken on this challenge.
I love when people say that you can't do something. And I think that's what we're seeing in San Francisco. We have a culture now where people are like, oh, San Francisco's done. This city's got the same drive that that I do.
Under 100 days out from Election Day, the reality of his run for mayor still hasn't set in for the man known for his nonprofit Tipping Point and his relation to the Levi's company. Even so, he says his identity lies with the spirit of San Francisco.
I think people have always underestimated me. I think people think, oh, everything just was handed to him. Listen, I've had a lot of opportunities. I will never deny that. But I work hard.
Stepping off the 9 and onto Market Street.
I used to wear like crazy colored socks and trying to tone it down a little bit, but you gotta have a little something down there.
He walks into an event close to his heart, downtown First Thursdays in Soma, created by the Civic Joy Fund, a group founded in part by Daniel himself, with a vision rooted in the next generation.
I want all of our kids, not just my kids, all of our kids to have that same sense of pride and wonder about our great city. And right now, we're all a little worried about the direction our city's heading in, and I want to do something about it.
Hand in hand, the pair is going on more than 20 years together, and Becca learned early on of Daniel's commitment to, well, commitment.
When he says that he's going to do something, as crazy as it might sometimes make me, he's going to do it.
Even the family dog is a shining example of Daniel's loyalty to his own promises.
I brought this dog home without running it by Becca, and the kids were so happy. I'm not sure how happy
she peed on our carpet.
And she peed on our carpet in the first moment.
I should have known. I should have followed my own counsel about him. I should have listened to what I knew to be true about you.
Yeah. If I'm going to do something, going all in.
Going all in on his run for mayor, a run he says is all in for the city.
We are continuing to give you a personal glimpse into the lives of the candidates off the campaign trail and look at the experiences that helped shape their political platforms. Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin is a staple in North Beach. He served on the board twice, first from 2001 to 2009, and then once again beginning in 2015. Lauren sat down with him as he explained why his own personal struggles with addiction make him the right person to lead the city through its own recovery.
All you gotta do is come in here, swim around this aquatic park, and it just puts your head in the right space to be everything you can be all day long. Never gets old.
At least 3 times a week, Supervisor and mayoral candidate Aaron Peskin can be found here at the South End Rowing Club, taking a dip in the bay before heading off to City Hall.
Only the bold swim in the cold.
It's a practice that for Aaron has become more than a routine, more than an exercise, but a part of his being.
It's just a profound connection with the environment that, we have parks and we've got Golden Gate Park, but we also have this just incredible bay, which is for most people a postcard, but you can actually interact with that postcard.
His 3 decades of swimming is one of few traits that transcends Aaron's time in City Hall.
So I said, I'll try anything once. That was 32 years ago. Hop in there, hang a left, swim all the way down to that flag, swim back, and depending on the tides, that's about a 20-minute swim, and then I'm just in the right zone all day long.
Each time he steps in the water, he finds a source of strength and healing in his own journey, recovering from a struggle with alcohol.
It's just a moment where you can separate yourself. I think some people do meditation, and some of us swim in the bay, and it's been really important in my own personal journey of recovery.
Swimming across the bay to Alcatraz and back and beneath the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a journey he's taking alongside a city in recovery.
Swimming in the bay makes you feel so connected to something that's larger than you. Matter of fact, back in my drinking days, I wasn't swimming as much. And now that I've stopped drinking, I swim really regularly.
Healing with each stroke in the water and bringing lessons he hopes can lift up the city back on shore.
It just helps you realize how incredibly special San Francisco is. I'm just ready to get to work.
With the hope to make a splash outside the water and across the city by the bay.
Finally, Lauren spent a day with San Francisco Supervisor Asha Safai as he juggled work and family duties and talked to him about the personal experiences that pushed him to seek the city's highest office.
It takes just a few steps for mayoral candidate Asha Safai to go from city official back to dad.
That when they say running for office, they literally mean running for office. You're in this constant hustle. And that's why I always say if you're not losing weight on a campaign, you're not working hard enough.
Zipping across town to pick up his son from camp.
Rumi, Daddy is literally at the light. I will be there in 1 minute, okay? I'm just another dad at the game, there to support my son or daughter, or dropping them off at school, or going to parent-teacher conferences, or helping with homework.
For Asha, his connection to his families is intertwined with his journey to public office. An immigrant from Iran, he moved to the U.S. during the Iranian Revolution.
We had to leave. I had family members that were killed. So it was pretty traumatic. And you don't think about those things till later in life. I was like, wow, that actually really happened. And that really helped to kind of ground me. And it kind of tore my family apart. My mom raised me as a single mom for some time.
And with a drive to rebuild, he studied city planning, foreshadowing his future decades later.
I wrote on my entrance essay to MIT that I'm coming to your program because I want to be a mayor of a city one day.
Looking in the rear view, he can now say that goal has a shot at becoming his reality. And with every turn, he uses his own experience to drive his policy.
My kids are involved in a lot of conversations. We talk about, things that are happening in the city, particularly because it hit home, right? Like our own home was broken into. The same night that Speaker Pelosi's husband was assaulted, our house was broken into. They stole my stove, my microwave, my hood. Thankfully we hadn't moved in yet. We were about a few weeks away from moving in, but it was just jarring. So the kids see these things, they know it, they feel it, so we talk about it.
Stopping for a sweet treat, he relishes in a moment to spend with his son, Rumi.
Do you want to get ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay, I promised him that we would get an ice cream. You put in the time, effort, and energy to prepare for all these different moments, and it's impactful.
A sweet reminder of the future he hopes to build for his family and his city.
Now that you've met the candidates, be sure to join us right here for the San Francisco mayoral debate in partnership with the San Francisco Examiner and KCBS Radio. We're going to ask them how they plan to tackle the challenges facing the city. That is Wednesday, September 11th at 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us for our special coverage of the San Francisco mayoral race. I'm Ann Makovic. The news continues streaming on CBS News Bay Area.